Good morning. I'm so impressed that everyone's here, and I won some money because I bet a bet that someone was going to be here this morning. So I'm a believer. Seriously, I'm going to check some notes out. I want to make sure I don't miss any content this year. There's so much great stuff. I always start with every year is very exciting for me to do our conference, but it's a lot more than just getting here and getting to tell you what we get to do, what's coming up, reviewing the numbers. That's all very fun, but it's just once a year you get a lot of people that I've known for a long time, a lot of new people too, but it's just like getting your friends together in a really cool place once a year to hang out. And we haven't done New Orleans yet, so this is a good one. I'm going to start off with, well, that's me. So New Orleans, why did we pick New Orleans? Number one, it's a Southwest city. When I say Southwest city, when we pick a conference, we're always going to pick Southwest served cities for a lot of reasons. It's easy to get to. Unless you're coming out of Tampa, which is very, very, very hard right now. It's underwater. It's you'll see some people are still trying to get here from Tampa. In case you guys don't know, it's like the most tremendous rainfall we've had in, I don't know, 20 years. The other thing, we hadn't been here before, but a lot of it came from your guys' input, and we're going to ask for your input for next year. So we've already got people floating around some ideas, but New Orleans was the number one of all the places that we kind of floated out there about a year ago. There was some real interesting answers to where we're going to go, and next year might be something different. We typically go East Coast, West Coast, so this would be the representation of the East, and next year we will go back west. Typically Vegas is the place. It seems like everybody likes that a lot, and I do too. So we, and by the way, if you haven't been out to New Orleans before, I was kind of surprised how many people weren't here or have never been to New Orleans. It is a really, really, really cool city. It's also home of the biggest party ever. I don't recommend coming for that, though. Some people ask, why do we pick Ignite? One thing we're always going to do is have a name that's centered around growth. It's just, I'm never going to walk up here and go, guys, this is great. Let's start maintaining what we got. We're really happy, and let's try and do the exact same thing next year. Every year is going to be growth. So they always say look for a theme, and I'm over it. It's just always going to be something that's about growth. Now, growth can be a lot more than just what's your revenue. What's what's your percentage over last year? Those types of things are really cool to talk about. They're the number one thing to talk about, but we do have a lot of other things that indicate growth. A lot of things I'm going to show you, a lot of things that the rest of the team is going to show you are going to tell you a little bit more about how we're growing as a system with the tools, the resources. A lot of cool stuff there. So I can't wait to put that in front of you over the next couple of days. Okay, so that is not Jeff LaValle. I told you I'd take care of you.
It could be.
This is going to be up here every year. Every year. And as well as this conference or any other conference you go to, there's always a few of these guys. But and everybody knows when everybody's got a story conference they went to and someone ended up like this. And Las Vegas, I say there's two things there. There's drinking and gambling. In New Orleans, it's drinking. If you think Vegas can eat you alive, this city, if you have not been here, is the sneakiest city ever in kicking your rear end and making you like that. You guys probably saw a few of those people if you walked around a little bit. I'm so envious. I mean, they can sleep anywhere. I can't sleep like that in Minnesota. But just be careful of it. That's probably a moot point because we had yesterday and we just had tonight. And then tomorrow, after everything breaks, go nuts. You don't have to get up Wednesday and catch a flight. Have a good time. It's a great city. Be very careful. The other thing, Adam alluded to this, but this group is a bunch of me's. We're all like me, so I know how it feels to have to sit and watch and listen. But Adam made a great point. We got a lot of very important people. A lot of people invest time. Everyone here did. There's a lot of great content. I know it's so hard. It is so hard to stay off the cell phones. I'm guilty of it. You have to fight the addiction. I promise you, your business will be okay. Everybody's going to be okay. And if you're from Tampa, your house is not going underwater, I don't think. But they are like evacuating parts of the city, just so you know. But everything is going to be okay. We do have some breaks worked in. We'll be flexible on that, so you'll have plenty of time to check in on things. I really appreciate your attention. And I know this is the group that struggles. We are the ADHD system winners of the U.S. We're going to talk about some of our guests. We have Jeff McCandless is here. He's going to be speaking to us about a lot of things, but he's one of the most diverse people in transportation. He's from the asset side, the non-asset side, the tech side. Very, very cutting-edge thoughts, is pioneering many things. I don't know anyone that's more connected into so many points into the industry. Really excited to have him back. We're going to talk about Jack Holmes. UPS, you here? I talked to Jack the other day. You guys know that Jack was supposed to speak today. And I got to tell you, number one, he did something that was crazy. He was literally doing this. He was going to have to fly in and then come straight here from a very, very busy schedule on a Monday and then speak for us and then just bolt right back out like a car waiting for him and fly right back. And like 2 connecting flights, all sorts of craziness to speak to us. But everyone knows that as of last week, UPS announced the purchase of Coyote Logistics. I can't say Coyote. Nick was trying to coach me on that, thank you. But anyway, so everybody knows about that. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but Jack did call me and gave me a lot of assurances. I know that's been a real popular question while we've been here, and I'm sure they'll be able to speak to it if you have some time. But it's going to be business as usual. Do not look too far into that. There's a lot of opportunities when you're a company the size of UPS to leverage, moving a lot of different things, the line haul, the capacity, those type of things. It's a very strategic move for them. But it's not something that I would lose any sleep over. It's very positive. I feel very good about it. But the fact that he's not here, he really, really loves doing these types of things, so we miss him, but just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Jack Dale, of course, is here. That's backed by popular demand. Everyone knows Jack is an author, a keynote speaker, a trainer, an extreme athlete, and broke my heart a little bit last night because he told me that Antarctica is not a fun place to go. And I thought was a true story. But he did run a marathon in Antarctica, which I think he's probably one of only 10 people in this room that have done that. Not. So. By the way, last year, everyone see that O's made it on America's Got Talent, our crazy mentalist from last year? Did anyone see that? Yes. Man? All right, that guy is just so wicked. It was so exciting to see it. And by the way, who saw that our cabanas from last year were like ground zero in Vegas? Cosmopolitan Fire, if you didn't see it. If you look from the aerial shot, it's like started in our cabana. Maybe one of you guys
I got the picture on my phone that I want to go there.
Yeah, so it's so if you're in the Ritz, you might be a little nervous. You might be a little first, but we also have Colonel Mark Tillman. This is one I'm real excited about. You just kind of personally find this a really, really cool story. He was the 12th pilot of the nation, selected as the commander of Air Force One. Obviously, the most important part is he was the commander of Air Force One during 9/11. So there's only one person in the world that will be able to tell the history of what it's like to be the only plane in the sky in the U.S. taking the president and his staff to safety during those times. So he's a very, very, very interesting story from him. I can't wait. Here's a little bit of our entertainment. I didn't set the entertainment up this year, so it's probably going to be really good. We're going to, I'm not even going to say the restaurant's name. It's Lefort. Because I'm not French and I can't kind of grasp the words. But we have the New Breed Brass Band. And then we have the Mardi Gras Indians, another band in between. So I know Randy's very excited about it.
I just heard about this first time. It's awesome.
See, told you. All right, so we're going to talk about the year in review. So what we want to talk about is where we've been, where we're at, where we're going. We're going to talk about everything in a whole 360 kind of deal. So we had a lot of press last year, and I'm just going to highlight a few of the things that we did. Pete, I always mess up your name too. Pete Article, Leaving the Competition to Become a Franchise, Entrepreneur Magazine, February 2015. Great article. Why these two best friends open a franchise together at 28. Randy, that's an awesome article. You'll notice we get a lot of interaction with Entrepreneur. We like to kick a lot of that to the franchise. We're going to be doing a lot more of that. It's very, very good for your local notoriety, hiring, your accounts. It's also very good for the system. So we like people to get kind of educated on what to do when the media calls you, because we're getting some big placements. And quite frankly, they're not always perfect for us. It's really good to get it out to you guys. Got Dusty King. My franchise is like my second child. Dusty, how many kids do you have?
I got one.
Do you have another one on the way?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, when you do that, you might have to change that article. Yeah. Another entrepreneur one. And this, oh my gosh. Jason Eckhart on the cover of Southern Jersey Biz. If they only knew, look at this guy in a suit. Another great article. Jason, tremendous on that. But one thing we do like for you guys to do, it's easier to get some of this press and media than you might think. We're going to work with you guys a lot on this to make sure you get some of that coverage. If you're not applying for, best places to work, if you're not applying for, small business of the year, or even, some kind of executive that you want to get to work for, you're missing an opportunity. It's very easy to do, and you'd be surprised at how well you'll do on it. Fastest growing, those types of things. We're going to coach a lot of you on how to do that, because you guys have some great stories out there, some great numbers, and people want to hear from you, especially in your local markets. This was another one. We had the governor of Florida visit just recently, because we announced 100 new employees. It was 100 new employees that we're supposed to hire. And they're supposed to be high-end jobs too, so it's a big commitment we made to the state. A lot of that is in tech. A lot of those jobs are in the things that go directly to supporting you. We're making a big commitment on that. The state helped us out. That was a lot of fun. And then Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. That was something, I got to tell you, and I'm not saying this in a cliche way, it's really humbling to get that when you know that it's really everybody's award. So we won that for the state of Florida. And we went to national just to hang out. We were one of the 4 national finalists. In fact, we were the only one outside of California. There was these tech startups, and we were the only one that was, a privately held company. Anyone here know what Zulily is? Why do you know what Zulily is?
Jack Daly's book.
Is it in your book? No. Zulily is, thank you. Anyway, Zulily won. It was a great business model. So Zulily was the one that actually finally trumped us for National Entrepreneur of the Year. But we got a lot of press on that. It was a lot of fun. I just put this up here because I want you guys to know this. We are the largest minority-owned business in Tampa, and it's not even close. So as you all can tell, I'm a minority. Or you might not be able to tell that, but I am. If you're Hispanic or you have any status like that, make sure you register that. That's a powerful thing. It's important for you. It's important for the people that come in. It's also something that, again, it's good local press. So we're going to talk about some of the good things and the bad things. The good things, the system is actually up 40.7% as a franchise. The franchise system went up that period from January to June last year and January to June this year. That's revenue. There's a lot of other metrics. Remember, lies, damn lies, and statistics. I can come up here every year and make it look great, but this is a big number. It's obviously never where we want to be. And in truth, it's not. I mean, I would say if we were like at 52, I'd say, Dad, that's a lot better. I'm not really happy at 40.7% growth. But there's a lot of people that would be murdering for these types of numbers. Heck, almost anyone in our industry. But we're going to break it down a little bit more. I'm going to tell you a little bit more what's behind that number. The 24%. It's impressive, but the 24%, what I found interesting, this is our top 10 growth. Last year, our top 10 outpaced the rest of the system. And this year, the average of the system is bigger than the top 10. If you do the math on that, it tells you that it's the new blood that's overrunning those numbers. That's hard to dilute that number down, by the way. That's a big number, the top 10. You know the Pareto law? So the new people that are coming in, the people that have been here a year or 2 years, are really hitting stride. They are coming up, knocking people out of the top 10 now, nipping on their heels, doing a lot of cool stuff. Our lowest performing group, calling you out, is if you were here in 2012 or before, you're by far, because every group, it's like a class, is how we're looking at it. If you're here from 2012 and before, you are in the, you're in the F squad right now. So we got to talk about that a little bit. You are lagging. And I know a lot of people say, hey, it's because we're bigger and it's harder to grow what's big. Nonsense. Then cut your company up into 100 pieces and grow them all from one. Trust me, I used to have that same gripe. And someone pointed it out and I was like, man, they just told my whole excuse. So you can be very big and grow crazy, crazy, crazy numbers. Math is easy. Talk about some trends. Here's what I'm seeing. You're going to hear a lot of stuff over the next couple of days. But this is how I see it, and here's some data. One of my favorite things in the trends, that's a bottom feeder. Bottom feeders are gone. There's a certain carrier that's not here. It's down 80% year over year. Yeah, I don't know who. The colors are, you know.
I'm saying who, not who.
No. We don't go there. Anyways, there's been a big mix change. The lower the carrier, the less they grew this year. Not just one, guys, the whole way around. It was a magnificent, magnificent thing. I can't tell you what that does for a system, especially when you can grow 40% and change the mix. That was something we didn't expect to see such a switch around. And a lot of that was, you know, just happenstance, just the way conditions happen. But we really seized it when we saw that mix changing. The premium carriers went way up. We saw every premium carrier, the ones that we talk about, the elite, the top, the ones that you say are elite by your votes. By the way, one thing I love about you guys is you are starting to really, you always have been, but I'm very, very proud. We prefer quality more than anybody else, and I will say that in front of any of my competitors. We're actually pretty civil, but I'll say we will pay more for quality than any other 3PL that I know of. Our premium carriers, as selected by you, and by the way, guys, it's not just who's on time, and they're usually more expensive, but it's the people that are giving us the most in the relationships, the people that are in this room that you guys are valuing, and I love to see that. That makes us so strong. Those premium carriers are going up anywhere from 17% up to 77% is what we're seeing. And we have one that's like at 200, but that's because they, you know, kind of came from a low number the year before. But these are the select carriers, and we're getting that tremendous mix change. Some characteristics. These are just kind of interesting facts. Average length of haul is 950 miles. Average weight is 1324. And our average number of minimums is 33%. 1/3 of our business moves as a minimum. That's about where it was last year. So it's not something that's shaking. These metrics are just kind of interesting facts. I don't think we're going to be able to move them one way or the other. Obviously, I always like to see less minimums, but it's also a big part of the industry. One interesting fact that I have here too. 10 carriers take 80% of our business. So I know a lot of carriers, a lot of 3PLs have 170,000 carriers to select. And I'm not saying that's not the right way to do it, but we have our own way. Of course, we want to have a lot of people in, but I know this was a discussion even just yesterday with the Franchise Advisory Council. Why don't we have a lot of the little guys? It is important, and we want to talk about that. We want to get more input from you guys, but we do like keeping our partners, and pushing as much business to those that were with us before, the ones that we value right now. It's very important, and it's not always the easiest thing to do. I know it's sometimes sliding somebody else in, but it is something that they appreciate very much, and this company is built on those foundations. So last year, this said 85-15. This year it says 78-22. This is LTL versus truckload. 78% of our business is LTL. I like that number staying high. I'm probably one of the few that's not like this, oh, I like the balance of 50-50. I don't like that balance. I'm an LTL guy. I love truckload and I love seeing it go into 22%, but I want to make sure we're always LTL dominant. So the goal is to double and triple truckload and double and triple LTL. I don't see this changing a lot. It might migrate between 75 and 85, but we're always going to be LTL dominant. That I said it last year, I'll say it this year. I know that's not sexy. Number one, I'm supposed to come out and say we're just a technology company and this, just we're tech. Everybody says that. And everybody wants to be all things to everyone. But if everything's important, nothing's important. So it's very hard. And we're not neglecting the other things. We're getting really, really good at those things. Our truckload is up way over LTL, as you can see. We're doing very well on it. But I just want to make sure that the market knows that we are LTL dominant. We're not saying we're not diverse. It's not saying we're not better at truckload than they are. It's just saying that if we're McDonald's, that's our hamburger. Well, maybe our French fries. Those are good. Okay, so let's talk about some things that weren't so good. What wasn't great? I mean, there's a lot to celebrate, but every year I'm going to talk about what wasn't good. Some things that we can control, some things that we couldn't. We're going to, as they say, keep it real. So this is Olaf. For those who, does anyone here not know who Olaf is? This will tell you who doesn't have a child. Okay. Eric, you don't know who Olaf is? Nick, we need to get him a stuffed Olaf for his office. This is what makes that movie great. Anyways, I put this up here to remind me how bad the winter was. And a lot of you guys suffered in the winter. It was the worst one I've seen in years and years. And I don't know if it was necessarily just by the amount of snowfall, but I know like Boston was no fan of this last winter. Every time I turned around, you guys were digging out of something. It's very hard to do business. Not making the excuses, because there was something else that happened in the winter that was beside it. We just sucked in the winter. Our numbers year over year were worse this January than in any time in history. January was just abysmal for so many reasons. You had the ports shut down on the West Coast. You had the winter, and I just think we had a lot of people enjoying their vacations for extended periods of time, to be quite frank with you, especially in Tampa. It was abysmal. February was kind of lagging too, not as bad as January. And then in March, we started crushing it. But we did some serious stuff in February because we realized we weren't making goal, and that's totally unacceptable. So if you were in Tampa anytime in those months, it was intense. I can promise you that. Here's the other thing this one was painful. We had 3 terminations. Not to make light of it, but it's a reality. We had to terminate 3 franchises, and we just terminated a 4th last week. That is not fun. Some of it's for non-payment. A couple of them were for going outside of the contract. It's something we hadn't done in years past. We've always been, hey, let's don't do that, because we have to list that on our FDD. We terminate, we have to, but we know we don't want to do that, but we know it's better for you. Protecting the system, protecting the integrity of the system is the most important thing. So we've gotten very assertive on that. But make no mistake, this is not an easy thing to do. It's very, very hard. And it's just like if you're firing someone, they should never be surprised. These people get warning after warning after warning, and they know they've done something way outside the context. So this is not something that's is very light, and it's one of the things that is an absolute failure on my part and everybody else out of Tampa that's associated with that. It's a big, big failure. So when we're talking about what's bad, we have to talk about that. Here's the other bad thing, increases. These are the increases that the carriers gave us more last year than this year. Because you guys, I have to put this every year. There's always going to be increases. There's always going to be a market. We love this tight market. We're all growing. We just saw the 40%. But the reality is the rates are going to go up when that happens. I'm a big believer. I hate to say this. I'm a big believer. I think they need to go up more. Industry-wide, not just here. Drivers, there's a huge driver shortage, and I tell you over the next 5 years, I think the only way to correct that is for them to start making more and more wages. If anyone here has a child that's in high school or anywhere else, I bet you don't want your child to be a truck driver someday. Although it's a great job. Now maybe if they're making more and doing more for these drivers, you'll see more of that return. to the luster of where it was, but we do not have a driver workforce. So those incentives to those drivers, that workforce and everything else is going to go up. If a $15 minimum wage goes up, wait to see what drivers need to make that same. It'll be very, very interesting. But just remember, this is all part of the market. This is not something that just hits us. This hits our competitors. This hits the shippers. It hits everybody. And these cost increases are very real to the carriers too. The B bill, the famous B bill. If you don't know what it is, well, consider yourself very lucky. Last year we tried to push invoicing fast. We made a decision to try something, to say, hey, let's speed up invoicing. It makes more sense. And what happened is we created a lot more B bills, a lot more secondary bills. And for those of you that don't know the pain, it's an awful pain. Now, I got to tell you, your franchise advisory council was on top of this. We spoke about it a lot. They got a lot of data. And they made sure that it was at the very, very top of the list to get that cleaned up. And when we went through it, it's painful because it's not something you can correct in one day. Everybody knows no customer wants that second bill. They budgeted, they planned, they know what they're getting from their customer, and to get a second bill, whether their bill was wrong or not, a second time is something that's totally unacceptable for the system or for any customer. I know all of us as consumers are the same way. The B bill was a nightmare. It was one of my least favorite things since I've been the CEO here at BlueGrace. Now let's get back to bragging. Okay, so we go right back to the B bill. I hate that that's like my initial, by the way. The B bill problem got cleaned up. We worked very, 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 very hard. Some people in Tampa, especially in the accounting department, the people that you don't see every day, people that are working with the carriers every day, the people that are working with invoicing, they worked extremely hard to get this cleaned up. And they did. I mean, I'm not saying there's not B-bills out there, but I know what the market bears. And I'll tell you, I'll put our number to B-bills up to anybody right now. Very proud of not just the end result, but how hard people work to get that cleaned up. 5 franchisees reduced their royalties. Everybody knows that we reward growth. We're inverted from our political system. The richer you get, the more we cut your taxes. So you guys seem to like that, okay, and it works really well. There's a good reason for that. Because the more you do and the longer you've been here, the easier it is for us. And we want to keep incenting you guys to get to the next level. Last year we had 7. Those 7 are there. And we have 5 more people that got into another tier and actually reduced their royalties. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. Here's another thing you guys love. RMIS. I didn't realize how much you guys like this until I started saying, hey, what was great about last year? And that was one of the things that every one of you told me. RMIS was a big, big hit. Getting that integrated, getting it with our technology, I should say. As you know, RMIS updates Blue Ship automatically. Keeps us clean, I guess, with all the carrier regulations or certifying our carriers. It's been very popular. As you know, we're real sensitive to non-certified carriers, and this hits home. Here's something else that was pretty popular. Double Up Recruiting. Launched after the conference last year, Double Up Recruiting. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but as you guys know, we help you hire if you wanted to utilize our services. And not to get too out of sequence, but I believe they're going to open this up for 1 week again at like some discounted rate. Adam, where are you?
Back here, it's already open, it closes on this Friday.
Okay, it's open, closes this Friday.
Just open.
I feel like I'm at Disney now, selling stuff. Guys, this is the biggest no-brainer we've done. It really is. Double Up Recruiting is very, very popular. Some of you guys took advantage of it. Went awesome. We're going to do more of that. Now, we can't always keep it open because we have limited resources at different times depending on how many people we have to push through our system. But when we have the capacity, we want to work with you to help you get more good people on. And we want to get better at it too as a system, the profile that you like, the people we have. The only thing I'm going to ask you is if we're helping you get people, or if we're the front people, be good people to go to. Lead your people as if you thought that they thought they were coming into corporate office. Make sure you're mentoring your people, that you're training your people, that you're investing in them. If you're using us, I want to make sure that because we're making a lot of promises. We're telling them, we're telling them Monty is a great guy to work for. You can't, Wait till you see them. It's up here, everything's good. We tell them about the system. So when we go in, we want to make sure that we're not leading somebody into the wrong situations. Very important. BG Enterprise. This was a smash hit. This time last year, we really didn't have the success, but we were building it. Now we have a lot of success in enterprise accounts. You'll hear this talked about a lot. Your big accounts, when you're engaging with us, have been very successful, regardless of how you engage it, whether it's directly or indirectly, but with our assistance. I will tell you, when people say, what is the difference? Everyone goes, what's the difference between you and everybody else? If you can't think of anything, if your just mind goes blank, just remember this. There is nobody in the space that is better at complex accounts than us. Our enterprise capabilities are second to none, especially when compared to other 3PLs in a franchise model. We wipe the floor with them. And it's not just the tech, it's not just this, we're really, really, really good at it. And I know I'm writing a big check up here by saying that. But guys, this type of business makes all the difference. This can radically change your business very quick, and we're really good at it. The new blood, the babies. This is what was good. We had some people come in here and just absolutely tear it out. I could go down a list of all our new people that are just absolutely murdering it, but I would have lost money, and I'm a very optimistic person, but the new people that are coming in are just killing it. The other thing is they're making it very hard for anybody else to have an excuse, because they don't know as much as you, they're just getting started, and they're throwing a lot of business on the books, a ton. You can't get away from the work ethic of this, guys. The new people are more motivated in general. Now, we have some beasts that are growing, some older people that are growing too. I mean, just in a big, big, big way. So it is across the board, but in large part, we're very excited about some of the new people. The A-Team. Okay, now, is there anyone that doesn't know this? Okay. I bet you someone does.
I got that.
Eric, I'm sure you know that one.
Yes, I do.
The A-Team, the audit process, that was very, very popular. Proactive audit beats the heck out of what we were doing. Kind of making sure you're getting things a lot cleaner. Here's the other thing that was popular. We talked about increases, guys, but we got a lot of decreases too. We have some and by the way, the decreases came from the premium carriers in large part, because we got sophisticated enough and we have enough dialogue with them about what do you need, what do they need. Hey guys, this isn't working well, but this is. Can we get more of this and less of that? Those type of conversations make all the difference. And as long as we give them good data, and I'll speak for them back there, but I ask just about every partner of ours, hey, who does it? I don't say how do we do. I'm like, who gives you the best RFPs? And they'll tell you that we're really, really, really good at doing that. We're really good at the data exchange. You can ask them when I'm not here. They'll tell you the same thing. We're really good at it, and it results in decreases. Do celebrate those things, guys. We had a lot of good stuff there. The other thing, Mastermind. Mastermind was very popular. It's an invite only. We try and get 4 people, 5 max. And it's invite only. Bring you in for a couple days and just absolutely tear it up and down on the business. Every resource is available to you. I'm spending time with you. Adam's spending time with you. Eric's spending time with you. IT, everything you want to see and do. We have a very, very packed 2-day schedule to help you do goal setting, help you understand what's going on there, and to suck some ideas back from you and across the board and the people that are there. It's a very popular 2 days, and I'll encourage you guys, if you want to, get with Eric and talk about it, because he's got to create that list. I think we're going to do it again in September or October.
September right now.
Okay, I always give myself more flexibility, so. Here's something else that was real popular. President's Club last year was South Beach. South Beach is fun. South Beach is like New Orleans, just a lot cleaner. And that's probably that. Guys, I don't care where we have this. We could have this anywhere, but when you get top performers together in a real cool place, it's just a blast. It really is. I mean, Scott was walking around with a killer whale, a stuffed killer whale around the pool all day. Really is. That's pretty cool.
That was his icebreaker.
Yeah, it was his icebreaker. And then you get this. Check this out. Oh, yeah. You guys remember the one with him in the suit? He's like all proud and solitary. There he is. That's his natural state. I'm just going to leave that up there for a while. Jason, thank you. right, so I'm going to announce where we're going next year. President's Club location, we're going international, Punta Cana. Going to the Dominican, all inclusive this year. We are upping the game way up.
All right.
We're going up. This is, and one of the reasons we made sure we went up and made it premium and put an extra day in there and did a lot is because I'm hoping some of you guys from the West Coast make it, and it's a flight. It's going to be worth it. Absolutely top notch. Already signed the contract on it. Just the only thing at the debate is how many people are going to be there and how many rooms we need. So I know some people are really in the driver's seat for that. Some are right there on the bubble. And I know there's someone right now that's not even on the bubble that's going to just absolutely start tearing it up after today and surprise everybody and make it there. I'll talk about the future IT now. This is probably my favorite thing to talk about this time because we talk about it every year. And I really want you guys to dig into this. Okay, so this is this new thing that we're launching. Actually, I think the press release goes out today. We timed it for the conference. We're going to call it Matrix IQ. Okay, so Matrix IQ, and I don't want to mess this up, but we always talk about another one of our features being agility. Matrix IQ is going to give us a ton of agility. Changing the pricing to your customers has never gotten easier than it is now. It is absolutely going to radically change your business. I'm saying this because I want you all to make sure, not just now, you're going to hear a lot more about it from the smart people. When you hit Justin and Andreas up, they're going to tell you how this works. But basically, this is a matrix that is going to help you price your accounts automatically based on who they're selecting. By the way, this is going to be great for the premium carriers because if it's a premium carrier, the matrix by default takes less margin. We're just going to push more and more to the premium carriers voted by you, without you having to take all this time and manually go in and go through the contracts. I mean, there's just war stories about this. I mean, and I love some of you guys are very, very sophisticated about, hey, it's time to take an increase on some customers. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all, changing all those contracts. Wait till you see how easy this is. Now, here's something that's weird about IT every year. I bet you there's a lot of features that you guys have at your fingertips, and you'll go, wow, when did that come out? And like 2 years ago? I'll tell you a real quick story. It was a long time ago, I bought this TV. I was so excited. It's a big screen, it's HD. And I turned it on, and I love hockey, for those of you who know Tampa Bay Lightning. If you're from Chicago, go away. But I was watching hockey after a year, watching my beautiful HD TV, going, yeah, it's a nice picture. It's definitely a little better than the last one. My brother-in-law comes over and goes, why don't you put it on HD? And I said, no, it's true. I said, hey, no. That is an HD TV. He goes like, yeah, I know, but why don't you put it on the HD channel? And I go, no, you don't get it. This is HD. Everything on here is HD. He goes, Bobby, you're an idiot. He says, give me the remote. Carol, this is your husband, by the way. Turns it on, and it's like, oh my God. And then I saw HD for the first time. I had this TV for a year because I'm like a lot of you. I'm too lazy to go through it. The guy from Verizon wants to tell me, like, just leave it there. I'm good. This is what's going to happen to Matrix IQ and the tools you have. And we're the group that does it. We don't like the attention to detail. Don't make that mistake. You guys have HD now. You have to learn how to use this. You need to get in on the Skype calls. You need to come to the corporate office and learn how to be awesome at this and change your business. I cannot muster up enough passion to tell you, you need to know this stone cold. It will radically change your business. I'm going to go through a couple screens here because everyone can read this. It's just a screen. This is the price management screen. This could be saying all sorts of nutty stuff. You're not going to be able to tell. But it's a price management screen, the first one. By the way, guys, this isn't what's coming. This is what's here. We purposely timed it this time. We didn't want to do it. By 2016, this is here. It's ready to go. This is the new look. You'll see a lot more space here, guys. You see all the space, the clean look here. You'll see the stars that you guys have. This is just a representative sample. I'm glad you guys can't see the data there because you guys would just start reading. I would too. But it's just the new clean look. That is in no preference of order. by any long shot, but it's that is how that's going to look. You'll notice the insurance, lane, items, accessorials to the left. And those big blocks there, you see where there's a lot of data that can go into those? This is why. Because now what you can't see there is expedited, guaranteed offerings, live, connections. It's API linked in several cases. By the way, hopefully Jed will talk a little bit about this, but we're trying to push as much away from EDI to API as we can. You can't spell die without EDI. I'm a big, big believer that this is all going to API. Just remember that. Spot volume quote. This is linked up. We can get spot volume quotes. Again, API, live pricing, very dynamic in nature. It's very clean look. Spent a lot of time on that. A lot of people did that. We're going to go to the next thing here. So the twin to Matrix IQ is Skyview. Skyview is there because what I've noticed in the last few years, probably more than just the last few, is that the buyer is changing. All I've ever done is been somewhere in transportation since 18, and it used to be that the guy that had $1 million of transportation spent a lot of times with someone that was on a dock. They weren't sophisticated. I've literally talked to someone about their $2.6 million spend after they got off of the forklift and undid their back brace. It blew my mind. Those decisions are moving upstream now. Very sophisticated. People are realizing that's a big cost. The C-suite wants to know what is going on, but they don't want to dig through the details. That's what they hire us for. The Skyview is going to give them a look at it. It's going to give them some really, really cool business intelligence. If there's anything they want, this is it. Data that's clean, real easy to read. It's going to show them their spend, their summary, their lanes, averages. Here's another screen that just will show you, see the revenue per month. The visuals in here are just really, really strong. And they're going to be a lot to that. This is what they call a heat map. Again, by the way, you know who likes this the most are your enterprise accounts. They love this. And you don't have to formulate this. This is generating the reports for you. Again, something else that's very, very powerful that you paid a lot for, that IT has worked their fanny off for, have absolutely been killing it to get these things done. And I'm not saying it is perfected yet, it never will be. There'll be a 2.0, a 3.0, a 4.0. But you'll see these things are what they want to see. It shows the carriers by revenue, the revenue by lane, by year. They can look at a glance. And by the way, this isn't one of the sexier maps. We have some heat maps that are really, really just blow people's mind, and they can just look at it real quick and tell where they're spending their money, what we're doing for them. Here's the other one, on-time performance. This is a nightmare to wrestle with this. And the carriers will tell you everybody reports different, so we had to come up with some standardization to make sure that this was relevant data. Remember, this isn't like a publicly traded company and they can report something, anything they want. Unfortunately, sometimes, especially the non-premier carriers, hey, the sun was too bright today, that's a delay code. We're not counting that delivery. This is really slick. Another thing your people want to see, it's very powerful information both ways though. Be very, very careful how you present this. And this is something that, this is here, but we're working very hard on it to get this perfected. This is not to the generation of Skyview and Matrix IQ. But this is something people love to see. And it's very good for you to see in, yourself too. A lot of bragging points there. Insurance. So we have insurance. You guys are going to hear a lot about this. UPS Capital is coming around in a big way. We're linking this in to Blue Chip. This is the biggest part. For them to be able to engage insurance in the way that they're going to be able to engage it is a game changer for you, for sure, for a lot of reasons. That's another thing that you guys were clamoring for in a big way. You wanted this. I think it was one of the best things to be pushing for, because this will also help your business in a big, 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 big way. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the stuff that I love to talk about because I get all the eyeballs. It's the brave new world that we're going to talk about. Remember last year's disclaimer? I put it up twice because I told you that the new territory maps that were coming out, or the new territory model, it is different. It is upon us finally. We move very, very slow. We move very slow on it and with a lot of purpose to it. So the territory model is what you're going to see more and more of. Right now I think we'll have our first territory franchise probably in the next 2 weeks. It is the default franchise offering right now. You guys in here have these national deals. This is different. It is not something that is bad for you. This is very, very, very good for you. But we don't want people coming into the system on a national license unless they have an existing book of business. And by the way, the initial franchise fee has gone up a tremendous amount. A tremendous amount. Andrew, where are you at? I'm Andrew's least favorite person because Andrew comes to me with a deal several times every week, and he'll just tell you, I just say no, 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 no. I'm really good at saying no. I read an article that said the most successful people say no more, and I'm like, wow, I'm just going to do that. And screw Andrew's life up. We want the right fit, guys. So if someone wants to come in and they want to do something big, they need to come in, and we need them to match the new blood that we have. I talked about it. Those are the types of people that we're going to be bringing in. The territories, again, I could put one anywhere we wanted, but this is good for you. It's going to restrict them, and it's meant to make sure that we start pushing a lot of outside salespeople. Now, the question is, why would they want to do that? Why would someone take a territory that you can sell in, but they can't sell out of? That's because things grow where people are, especially with an outside sales force. People want to know how we did our business in Tampa. It all started right there. People on the street going out. Nothing beats face-to-face. So that's one of the things that you're going to see is going to be very interesting. I'm going to show you a little bit on it too. There's a new world. Here's a territory map. Another high-res, remember HD? Not. This is the actual territory map though. So you'll notice there are certain areas, like if you look up into the northeast, it takes, the size of this room might be a territory. And then of course, everyone's, just, it's a huge rush for Montana right now. You get all that space. What we did is we took about 5,000 units of distributors and manufacturers, about 5,000 businesses, and that represents a territory. We could have used a lot of data, but we feel that that's the best. If you're distributing and manufacturing stuff, there's a pretty good chance that you have freight. We wanted to take out the high-rise syndrome where there's 1,000 businesses in a building, but there's no one shipping anything. You'll see this. We do reserve the right to adjust this. You will see that. Oh, wait, I do it every year. It's a disclaimer. See, we've got a general counsel now, and he says, just put a disclaimer on everything, you're good. You can say anything you want. So, it is subject to change. Guys, be excited about this. You might have some people that come around and they might open up an office near you. I swear to you, if you worry about that, I'll be so disappointed because there's nothing to worry about there. I'm going to show you something. This next piece is gratuitous in nature, and I got to see if it plays, but you'll understand it once I get through it. Who in here doesn't watch SNL? Randy, okay. Yeah, you're a Hawks fan, that explains that. Right. This is very good.
Well, there's fiber, and then there's high fiber. Try this.
Sounds delicious. But is it really higher in fiber than my oat bran cereal?
Take a guess. How many bowls of your oat bran cereal would it take to equal the fiber content of one bowl of Colon Blow?
2,
Guess again.
3,
A little higher.
4,
Keep trying.
5,
No, you'll have to do better than that.
7,
Guess again.
8,
We'll give you one more guess.
9.
Not even close. It would take over 30,000 bowls to get that much oat bran. You'd have to eat 10 bowls a day every day for 8.5 years.
Wow! I think I get the picture! Golden Bowl must be the highest fiber cereal on the market!
Not anymore. Now that there's new Super Colon Blow.
Super Colon Blow?
It would take over 2.5 million bowls of your oat bran cereal to equal the fiber content of one bowl of Super Colon Blow.
I'm convinced.
Golden blowing you in the morning.
Okay. Now, I told you it's gratuitous, but here's why I think of that. It's because it would take you 20,000 accounts to come across. Well, not quite 20,000, but that many to get to one account where there's channel conflict. And ever since the dawn of time, the thing that mystifies me more than anything in any sales process, in any environment, is worried about your territory size or somebody else in it. It is absolutely, I can promise you, I can't give you enough conviction on it, is the worst thing you could ever think of, because it is the most wasted energy you'll have. I'm going to show you something, guys, here. Here's a physical demonstration. Want to help me out here, man? All right, real quick. Does anyone know how many M&Ms are in this bag? It's 5 pounds. Anyone want to take guesses? This is something I learned, I'm really proud of, how many M&Ms are in a 5-pound bag. It smells so good, I love it. So I'm gonna pour these out. See all these M&Ms. No. There's 2,200 M&Ms in there. That is the representative of the LTL truckload market in North America. And I did this by scale. That is true. We went to all the numbers and I made sure I got this down to a science. Now, I didn't count every M&M, but I will tell you this. Out of all those M&Ms, if this is the LTL market, truckload market in North America, guys, I'm not including like gas tankers and international and all that, then we get in the trillions. This is just the market you're in. This bowl of M&Ms, blue M&Ms. So cool, you can even get your name on them. 2,200 M&Ms. Anyone want to take a guess how many of these M&Ms are ours if this is the market? Got 10. Anybody else? Come on, Joe. Oh, we got smart people. How many?
Less than 1.
No. Let me help you out here, guys. 1 M&M. 1 stinking M&M. And you guys, not you guys, but some people are worried about running into the 1 red M&M in this bowl of blue. That is the actual sample of the LTL truckload market in North America. Do not worry. I can promise you, the strength you get from someone that comes in is 1,000-fold better than worried about someone getting into an account that you might have a prospect with one day. If channel conflict occurs, that is a good thing, but I think we're a long way away from it. That's not as big, but it's a representative sample of, or just to kind of remember that. I want you guys to remember that. Time thinking about that is absolutely time wasted. You want more good people in this system. I want more good people in this system. It is a very powerful thing for us. You will not have channel conflict 10 years from now. Okay, so we're going to talk about how do we add another red M&M. How do we become the second M&M? Because an M&M is only $200 million. People get confused between millions and billions real fast. They know billions is more, but they don't understand it's 1,000 million. 1,000 million. So how do we add another M&M? Because an M&M is only 200 million. How do we add the next 200 million is the question. How do we double? Always talking about doubling. Number 1, multi-bill shippers. This takes discipline. This takes focus. It's very hard to pass up business that's willing to do business with you. Make sure you understand the cost of doing business with single bill shippers. I don't say that lightly. I know it's hard to pass it up. It's very important that you get multi-bill shippers. You are undervaluing the effect. I know you want them, but how bad do you want them? Because these change the makeup of your franchise. Multi-bill shippers. You don't need as many as you think to make it happen. Multi-bill shippers. And guess what, guys? There's no one in here that's more excited about multi-bill shippers than the carriers. Andreas will talk to you a little bit about that. On our blankets, we're around 1.3, 1.4 average shipments per stop. That next shipment that a carrier can pick up is by far the most profitable. And we want them to make money too. We want them to make a lot. Because when things get to the next year and the next year and the next year, we want to continually be that partner that they go, they give us great data, they got high integrity, we're profitable off of them. We don't need an increase on those guys. We're doing well because they've done the things necessary to help us be profitable. That makes them profitable. That next shipment, it's right there in front of you guys. You saw the size of the market. Those next shipments are right in front of you. Get those multi-bill shippers. Okay, here's the other way. And that same thing, and I brought the enterprise back again. BG Enterprise, you want to get to 200 million, you got to have big accounts. You want big accounts? We're good at getting big accounts. You want big accounts? You got the tools to get the largest accounts. Guys, Walmart called me up and asked, hey, you interested in coming in? I'm not real excited about Bentonville, but I'll go. It's like, Walmart called, like, what in the world would they want to talk to me about? Doesn't scare me. I think we can help any company in this country. I really do. There's not one deal too big for me right now. Now, there's ones that you might want to push more for, or target in different sizes and different skills, but do not be scared of the big account. I cannot tell you how much that will radically change your business. You need one big account, and you'll be absolutely be intoxicated. Right, Scott?
Right.
Thank you. It's happening now to you guys. You guys are bringing in a lot of big accounts. We have some real big success stories. I don't want to take the thunder, but we have landed a lot of nice, large accounts lately. Corporate, franchise. I just love seeing that you guys are in on the game now. It's been a major, major boon. If you want to get to 200 million, that's how you're going to get there. We are hiring. We talked about double up recruitment earlier. You're not going to get bigger unless you get some help. And the one thing I got to tell you, and I've been listening to you guys over the last few days, and we got to get somebody because we're just stuck in administration. You're not stuck in administration. You're being lazy. You're not getting out there and kicking butt. If you need someone, get someone. If you get someone that's administration so you can go sell, do it for real. Don't just get added administration in you. I know sometimes it's not easy to get up and grind, but you need to in the hiring part of it. Here's the thing that we hear, and it doesn't matter where you're at in the country. Hiring sucks. It always will. You're always going to get deadbeats. We're all, the millennials, they don't want to work, and they want too much, and they this and this, and Stop it. If you've got dreams of getting bigger, you have to hire. And you're going to have those deadbeats. I promise you. And you might have to fire 10 before you get the right one. But let me tell you something. The thing that's different is that one person's worth going through that hell. That one person is far more valuable. That one rainmaker is far more valuable than you could put. I asked the question yesterday, what would you guys, I put a number out there, what would you do if you knew a rep could do this X a week? And the numbers were kind of surprising, right, John? I was like, you guys don't get it. They're worth so much more. And it's not just what you pay them, it's what you're willing to do to get them. And again, remember I said mentor them? Don't get someone that's really, really good and do a disservice of not training them and not being there every morning for them. Not sending them in training, not investing in them, not holding them accountable. That's what makes them good. But you cannot build your business if you're not hiring. And hey, it's kind of tight. So, and I'm doing administration. Well, if you're not selling and you can't afford someone to sell, you should probably think about another profession because you're not going to grow. Now, there's people like Pete got out there and he's cranking it, absolutely cranking it. Now he's got that flowing in, but Pete went out there and nailed on these doors. Now he's got new people, hires one, hires two. He's in there before they're there. He's dressed up ready to go, 7:15 every morning, driving them out of the office late at night. Watch his, not to call you out, man, I watched his franchise grow. Here's the other way. Does anyone know this guy? He's not the gladiator in this film. This is a brilliant mind. The reason we picked this slide, there's a formula. There's a formula that you're supposed to follow, guys, and I'm going to rant about this for a while. Tampa's still bigger. If Tampa's a franchise, Tampa's still bigger than the entire system. We got the same rates, same technology, same training, same strategy. We share everything we do. That door opens both ways. There's nothing we won't do, but the big components are there. Now some people go, yeah, but you got more people. You want my payroll? Well, someone asked me earlier today, Jeff LaValle, what did you ask me this morning?
I asked you that you were no different than any other one of the franchises when you first started out. What was the key to your success when you first started?
I kept hiring. It's true. Look at my staff. I got one, and I got another, and I got another. But what I didn't do is just get comfortable. And they don't care. They don't care if it's going to cost them a month or 2 months. You've got to get the next people on, and you've got to get them to mentor them. But the most important part is You got this formula that's waiting for you. You pay for this. This is what your royalties is about. Talk about, TVs. This is like buying 1,000 channels and only watching NBC, some of you. Follow the formula. Don't get away from it. There's a recipe. There's a distinct way. And we tell you exactly what to do. Just follow the formula, guys. Don't use anything. Don't take the shortcuts. And if you think it might be a shortcut, it's a shortcut. I'm going to talk about this for a little while. Reduce the variation, increase the quality. Anyone know who Deming is? Okay, so Deming is a guy, I studied a lot on him. He went to Japan. He was part of the census, the U.S. Census Bureau back in the 40s after the war. Goes to Japan. And he's actually the reason that they started kicking our butt in automobile production. And it was just simple. It says reduce the variation, increase the quality. Follow it to the T. He had them following standardization to the T. I was telling a story the other day about a former citrus grower. He was an agriculturalist in Tampa. Very, very painfully wealthy guy. I mean, just that kind of uber well-known, so much. And he was a farmer. And I said, well, what made you so successful? And he says, I was in citrus. And I said, well, what was the trick? He goes, well, someone told me exactly what to do. They told me when to plant, when to put the seeds down, what to do when it got to this temperature, when to water, what to do when it got real cold. He said, and I just did all that. I said, but what was it to that? He goes, he says, everybody asked me that. And the person that gave me the instruction on how to build an empire came to me and goes, man, what'd you do? And he says, I just did what you told me to do. And he says, yeah, but I didn't expect you to really follow it to the T. He said, but man, because you did, look at the success you had now. And I see that a lot. That guy was actually ended up being a teacher of mine. And learned a lot from that man. But it applies to everything we do. You guys see it in the diet. Hey, how do I lose weight? Well, that information's out there. It really is. Boomerang. You guys hear the word pivot a lot. Hey, we got to change our way. It's a buzzword that's like out of control right now, and it's a good one too because it's very applicable in business. But it's valid. My theory is that most people already have the recipe though. They start off, they get a little shaky, they want to take a shortcut, so they go do something else. And just because you pivot, just change doesn't always mean it's good. Remember every political, get ready for this next year, let's change. Change isn't always good. The point is, though, is you've got the recipe. If you've gotten off of it, if you've steered away, if you've used something that's different, and it's just not jiving. Or if you're doing good, and you think it's because you're doing good because you had your own little gimmick, you might want to second guess that too. I'm going to show you something. So got two little things I did. Those of you know that I got two little girls, so I'm always doing science projects. And I noticed something when I was doing one with them. If you take, this is not drinking water, by the way, guys. If you take a deionized water, potassium chloride, a certain amount of it, a very, very specific amount, you take a very specific amount of glucose and a certain amount of methylene blue, you put them in a bottle. It just sits there, just turns a clear liquid. It's like nothing. Like, what is it? Now, if I shake this bottle up, and I keep shaking it, and I put the wrong ingredient in, which I did, it was just a little bit. You guys can't even see the hue of blue in it, right? Now, if I'm very specific with it, and I put the exact right amount in it, there's no sediment in here, there's nothing. This is the exact perfect formula, no deviations. And if I just keep shaking this thing up, and I keep shaking this thing up, you'll notice it turns BlueGrace blue. Because the oxygenation reacts to the chemicals inside there. But it gets, and if I keep shaking this thing, will get deep blue. It's kind of fun. Kids will mess with this thing for days. But I always thought it was interesting, if you screw the formula up, you don't get blue. So if you're using this, you use your own brand. I'm calling you out. Stop with your own brand. Your brand is not the brand. It's not part of the formula. If you're using a different type of training, let's talk about it. Let's get the formula right, because you're varying. You're off course. So you come to me and you go, Bobby, how'd you get so big? I said, I got a formula, I'll share it with you. Say, yeah, but I got this thing, or I'm in this part of the country where people talk different, and we do things a little bit different, so, and you might have a nice little company going on right now. But you're fooling yourself. Remember this statement? Good is the enemy of great. I wasn't a huge fan of this book, but I did take some big pieces out of this. Jim Collins, Good to Great. And this is something I see everywhere. Every sports team, good, they don't want to change things. Even if you're doing good, make sure it's only because you're following the formula in the right way. You guys, here's an example. These guys got it right. Very, very, very rich young men. They had YouTube. YouTube was initially, they said, hey, we got a great idea. What if we figure out how to put videos online, compress them, and put all this technology together? By the way, does anyone understand why YouTube started? Why these knuckleheads did? Dustin.
Weren't they at a party and wanted to share a video with people?
That's true, but before that, the main founder, he was upset because he couldn't find a video of Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction. True story. You should watch the press conference on these guys. They're getting like hundreds of millions of dollars. They're like, yeah. But they come up with this technology and say, hey, let's make it a dating site. We'll call it Tune In, Hook Up. Like, you know, people could be on there. And so they start going down this path. And then one of them goes, hey, guys, this isn't working. Let's boomerang back to the formula that we had created. And then you saw the success. You never heard of Tune In, Hook Up. But the thing was, that was an afterthought. So why is it so hard? You got JetBlue, Virgin, and IKEA, all three global brands. The one thing that's in common with all three of those, the entrepreneurs, the founders, the presidents, just like all the people in this room, sales type people, but especially these guys here, suffer from ADHD. Now, I'm not talking about the ADHD that we all have. I'm talking about society. Everybody has trouble keeping focus. I'm talking about clinically diagnosed, very, very, very tough. Richard Branson talks about it all the time. I'm not talking, everybody thinks they got ADHD. You are typically 3 times more likely, if you're one of us, to have clinically diagnosed ADHD. That's why we have to put the please don't text kind of thing, because we are just so distracted. And you get distracted from your business. A lot of that gives you that brilliance also steers you off course from the formula. Here's the other reason. You guys see this? Okay, number one, if you're writing a line, you're an ass. But that's why I didn't make it look good. But it's actually a theory. It's called the man writing a line theory. And if you're an entrepreneur where your income is not guaranteed, everyone looks at you and goes, wow, look how brave you are. But an entrepreneur is on that line going, oh my God, I'm on a lion. The pains that you have, the fears that you have are different. And you're scared. And you go, how do I get off this line and not get eaten? So what you do is you change the course. Like, oh, I'm desperate. I got to do this. I got to steer off the path. You're not staying the course. You're getting scared. You're moving away. You're not hiring because you're scared. Ooh, what if I don't make the right amount on it? You're scared. Don't write a line. Simple quotes are ones that are my favorite. Hank Strand said, there are a few secrets in football. Just execute. It's the same thing. You've got the playbook. Just execute it. It's as simple. Strategy and execution. This simple, guys. We've got the strategy. Told you what it is. You know what it is. We're going to ask you to come and visit us a little bit more. We're going to keep working and training. You're going to hear a lot more from the people here this week. You do that, great success. Tremendous success. All right, so I'm going to finish up here in a second, but this is part of my other rant. The real secret is there is no secret. Now, I know some people in here like the secret, Vanessa, and even my business coach, Jack, me and Cameron have, this is the only thing we disagree on. He loves the secret, and I hate the secret. I think it's a crock of crap that they believe that you can just sit around and visualize what you want. Like a vision board. And I know the arguments are going to be, that's not what it is. It's what it is. I've watched the video, I've read the book, and I just can't get past it. There's no secret, guys. All the information is out there. That's going to be my book when I write it. It's going to be called The Real Secret is There Is No Secret. And Robert, get ready because the cease and desist will come very fast. So you have the information. Again, it's just like a diet. Hey, how do you lose weight? And like, guess what? I went to the gym and I stopped eating so much. All the information is out there. Do you want to be as big? There's no reason that anyone in here cannot be bigger than the corporate franchise. You guys have less distractions. I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious. You can be bigger than the Tampa office. I know this guy, Randy believes that. And I'll bet you if anyone's going to do it, it's this guy, because they say to be the most convincing, you got to be the most convicted. And Randy believes that, and that's why he's investing, and that's why he's growing like crazy. Everyone's, what's that guy doing? Oh, it's because he's in that one business. No, it's because he's hustling. And he takes every piece out of corporate. We get a spinning wheel. He gets a better spinning wheel, by the way. The little. Ask Nick, I go, what is this? Yeah, it's just crazy. It's absolutely nuts. So but everything that we do, they're doing to the model, to the T. They're investing. They're early, they're late. They're doing it. They're executing. They're seeking a lot of counsel, getting a lot of ideas, but they're getting huge, huge. What do you see as numbers by next year? Not to call you out too, but man, I just get so excited when I see that. Adam, how much time do we have?
You're good.
We're good? Guys, the next few days is going to be a lot of fun. Again, you're going to learn some stuff on the IT side. I really encourage you to start setting up some time to get trained on that. Get some of your questions ready. Bourbon's a real fun place. If you want to go out for a drink, do that too. But we've got a lot of content for you. And I haven't seen everybody in here, and I do want to see every one of you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everyone coming in this week. Really appreciate it. Thank you.